If you've seen my previous video on YouTube, you know that my Tesla Model Y had some pretty major problems with initial fit and finish quality. I put the story of that on my humble YouTube channel that is otherwise devoted to coffee and tech and other things like that, which are essentially watched by nobody. But with the Tesla Model Y video, it seems like I found my niche. YouTube rewarded me with so many views. Teslas are obviously a hot topic. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the eccentric CEO or the stock price, but I didn't want to be on YouTube as a Tesla hater. That wasn't my intention. In fact, I love electric vehicles. I love cars. I've worked in automotive engineering. I've studied fuel cells, battery technology, and the internal combustion engine. So here's the quick version of the story of my car. I took delivery of this car on the date that Tesla assigned to me, which was June 30th, 2020, the very last day of the financial period Q2. I had not realized what that would mean for the rush that my car must have been put through to meet that date. My delivery, along with 90,649 other Teslas in Q2, astonished investors who were expecting no more than 70,000 deliveries at best. As the stock soared, so did my anxiety level. I found issues, but given that the contract allowed me 7 days to accept or reject the car, I drove it to work knowing that I'd have a service visit within 6 days. By the time I got to work that day, Tesla had bumped the appointment by 3 days, past the 7-day range. By the end of that same workday, Tesla had bumped it again to July 27th. So this was obviously a big problem for me. After a number of calls and emails, I got Tesla to restore the appointment to the Monday, which is within 7 days, at the service center. Despite my persistence, there was not somebody there to meet me and make sure they have my full list. Emails were unread, but on the upside, the loaner was pretty cool. It was an early Model S P90D named Fiery Tomato, complete with a pack of smokes in the glove box. Unfortunately, and probably pretty wisely, this loaner vehicle is permanently stuck in chill mode with a limited top speed, which essentially makes it feel like a 1998 Buick Regal. I gotta give it to Tesla. They fixed the liftgate rather well. That was one of the biggest issues I had. Apparently it's a matter of adjusting these two bolting points, and you can see the unpainted bit now that it's been moved into correct location. The chip that I had in my glass is allegedly a defect in the tint, so they fixed that and that's fine. They adjusted most of the panel gaps, but they missed quite a few because they're not reading my emails and nobody was there to meet me. So when I went to pick it up, I had to bring those back into their attention and have them keep it for another day just to make sure they take care of all those things. So by the end of the day, based on the promise that they will fix any outstanding issues in the future, and on the promise that they will do a new complete inspection and rectify anything else that comes up, I accepted the car. I took it home. I brought it to Mark from Grand Tour Auto Spa, who is the only detailer and certified ceramic pro shop in the Greater Toronto area that I would trust. And it's also where I'd brought other cars in the past for ceramic. So at this point, I ran out the clock on my 7 days, and the car was officially unrejectable at this point. I was almost ready to do the ceremonial removal of the protective thing on the screen and the paper floor mats, but then I got a call from Mark. While the orange peeling I had noted was not as bad as other midnight silver Teslas he had seen, so that's not the issue, this car had acid rain water etch marks. Hundreds of these spots that look like dried up water, except you can't get this off by wiping it or giving it a standard paint correction. This had gone deep into the clear coat, and Mark would have to use a heavy cut and compound to buff this out. I did my research and all signs point to water exposure before the clear had a chance to properly cure. Perhaps it was in transit. You know, Tesla doesn't wrap these cars in transit. Given the absurdly fast resumption of shipping after the Alameda County and the Fremont plant came to an agreement to end the lockdown, this totally makes sense. Ceramic Pro would just seal this stuff in and make it even harder to remove down the road. So we didn't proceed with the Ceramic Pro at that stage. I called service and they right away resorted to what they do best. They deflected, they delayed, and a whole 10 days later, this car went back in. It also turns out their inspection that I had asked for must not have been thorough enough, because the same trim fitment problem that I'd pointed out to them for the passenger side also exists on the rear door and the driver's side seatbelt area as well. And just to add insult to injury, Tesla dropped the price of the Model Y on that date, making me wish even more badly that I had done what everyone in my comments section had told me to do. I should have rejected this car. I'm already hearing about how newer VINs have significantly less flaws like this upon delivery. So back to the shop we go. This time the loaner was a 2019 Model X 100D. What a treat. Honestly, you can tell that they want to try to make things better for me, and I really do have to appreciate that. Yes, the Model X was also stuck in chill mode, but we've been spoiling ourselves with these automatic doors, and the luxury is just next level. I did a video about that car. You can check it out here. They kept my car for 9 days. They did a wet sand and polish, which is something you normally do to cars to restore them when they're 4 or 5 or more years old. Maybe they have swirls or deep scratches. In this case, again, it's a new car. They did what they had to do. It's better. I did lose a fair bit of clear. The back seat is still an open ticket item with Tesla. It remains to be seen if they will make it right. The urgency for that is only getting more and more pressing as I hear a buzzing / rattling noise coming from inside the seats. I feel like it's the springs that must be inside there. But anyway, back to the paint. Mark told me they did a decent job. I definitely lost some clear coat. Another problem that he discovered were fingerprints on the inside of the windshield in front of the 3 cameras that face forward. This can't be cleaned. So, I mean, not by me at least. So Tesla will have to remove the cameras, wipe the fingerprints, reinstall the cameras, and recalibrate. Mark did a full paint correction and ceramic coat, and if you don't know what ceramic coat is, check out this video by Engineering Explained. It does so much to protect the paint, and I'm glad I did it. The service is something that gets registered to your VIN, so when someone pulls your vehicle history, it shows up, permanently making your car more desirable when it comes time to sell it. So at that point, with the car so clean and actually glossy looking, we notice that the liftgate has this subtle crease. This appears to be where all my previous liftgate issues probably stemmed from. There must have been a mishap at the plant, and this is what led to the repainted panel. So I brought this back up with Tesla, told them over and over again that they've done me wrong, but I simply can't get an escalation beyond Tesla's service department. They're doing well at service at least, but they're limited in what they can do, obviously. The moral of the story is that is just the current state of affairs with this company. You're going to have to stomach some compromises in fit and finish. Otherwise, don't buy the car. And that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, truly unfortunately, this is how it is with Tesla in 2020. And the sooner you move on, I guess the sooner you could enjoy the car for what it is. And life is short, and that's what I decided to do, I suppose. It's time to start really making the best of the situation. Oh, cruel, needless misunderstanding. Oh, stubborn, self-willed exile from the loving breast. 2 gin-scented tears trickled down the sides of his nose, but it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother.